Why is Death Stranding 2 so important to me? That's what I want to talk about today. Hey guys, it's Sack. This is going to be a different type of video for me today. I wasn't going to make this at all, to be honest. I had several ideas on how I'd do it. I've written multiple scripts, but in the end none of them felt right. So I was just initially going to give up on this one, but after talking to Yokai about it, this is something that I want to do, and I want to do it for me. So I'm just hitting the record button and I'm speaking my mind. Death Stranding 2 is likely going to be my game of the year this year, and I'd like to say why. Don't get me wrong, I'm not putting all of my hopes and prayers on this one single game, and as always I am going to brace myself for disappointment. But I just can't with Death Stranding. It's a game that just means too much to me. But why? Before I get started, if you don't like Death Stranding, hell, if you even hate Death Stranding, I get it. If you think it's just a glorified walking simulator with 12 hours of cutscenes and 30 hours of just walking around, then that's valid criticism. If you think the story is too weird and doesn't make any sense, again, perfectly valid take. And most importantly, if you're one of the people that say things like, the only reason this game was ever even made in the first place is because it's Hideo Kojima, you're probably right. And that's the main problem I want to address with this. Death Stranding is, at its core, art. Art is subjective. Whether it's a painting, a sculpture, music, cinema, or yes, a video game, art is meant to be both criticised and appreciated. You might see a painting in a gallery that really grabs your eye, but to your friend it just looks like a mess of lines that they could have done if they wanted to. You might watch a movie that really didn't do anything for you, but your significant other was moved to tears by it. You might listen to your favourite band's new album and just think to yourself, man, they just really didn't do it for me this time. Because in the world of art, even the greatest artists won't please everyone all the time. And like it or not, I can't think of any better way of talking about Hideo Kojima than calling him a very unique artist. And Death Stranding, it is 100% uncensored Kojima, with nobody telling him no, nobody telling him he can't do something. It is the mind of absolute insanity with no filter. And that's something we never get anymore. Games aren't brave enough to take risks anymore. Studios have become far too content with things like remakes and whatever the easiest way to turn a profit through microtransactions is, even if it more often than not backfires on them. If they're not remaking decade-plus-old games like Resident Evil, Crash Bandicoot, Final Fantasy, or even threatening remakes like Prince of Persia or Oblivion, they're squeezing every last drop out of once-beloved franchising and giving us more of the same with a different coat of paint, with noticeable diminishing returns as time goes on. Or releasing games with infinite microtransactions hoping the game will just keep paying for itself forever. Once beloved series like Assassin's Creed or Dragon Age that used to rule the world of gaming are now just meh. We've either seen it all before but with a different coat of paint, or the once standout franchise that wasn't afraid to be different and stand out now wants to take as few risks as possible. Now, I'm not saying I'm completely against all of this. I love the Final Fantasy remakes. I am keen for a Prince of Persia remake, but in a world of remakes and unnecessary sequels, a game like Death Stranding is always going to stand out to me. Death Stranding is a desolate world of what are essentially tar ghosts that you kill with your blood and piss while role-playing as an Amazon delivery man that looks like Norman Reedus, trying to install the internet across America with the help of your baby in a jar that can see the ghosts. All because your mother, who is also the president, asked you to do this on her deathbed, and after you initially said no, you find out your sister has been kidnapped by a terrorist that looks like Troy Baker, who's trying to cause the extinction of the human race, so you decide that you'll go, while making friends with a Frankenstein Guillermo del Toro and a man that has heart attacks every 20 minutes along the way, all while being hunted by Mads Mikkelsen, who keeps dragging you through time to fight in places like World War I and Vietnam because he wants to steal your jar baby, only to find out that you were the jar baby all along and he was actually your dad, and the vice president, whose name is actually Die Hard Man, was the one that killed him and knew you were a jar baby all along because your mother, the president, who might also be the same person as your sister, used her powers to bring you back to life when you were shot out of the jar as a jar baby, but that was the event that severed the lines between the living and the dead, which is the reason why the world is now full of tar ghosts and monsters, and now why you need to make sure everyone in America has Wi-Fi. What? No one would ever make a game like this. No one would ever be brave enough. No one except for Kojima. And it's such a shame that gaming has almost lost that sense of who cares if it makes complete sense, as long as it's good, as long as it's fun, as long as it works for the story that we are telling, edge that it used to have. Now, apologies that was such a Cliff Note-y depiction of the game. Those who have played it and enjoyed it will probably hate me right now for making it sound so stupid, and those who haven't will likely be asking themselves, What? What the fuck? But to tell the story of Death Stranding coherently, this video would be 2 hours long and I'd still probably miss some things. And also, please don't misinterpret what I'm saying here. We still get creativity outside of Death Stranding, don't get me wrong, especially in the indie game scene. It's not like the video games have gone bad for not being unique. Hell, look at KCD2. That is a great game that stands on its laurels of we prioritise realism and immersion over being like every other game. And that should be praised, and it has been through sales. We still get great and unique games out there, but never quite to this scale of outside-the-box insanity that only someone like Kojima can deliver. Never with such a huge budget to really push the boundaries and truly make everything the creative visionary wants a reality. And that is why I'm so excited for this game. Not even just the story, but the entire world of Death Stranding. From the art design, the score, the emotional payoffs, and yes, even the gameplay is exactly what it needs to be. While it is, as I said, essentially a walking simulator at its core, there is combat in there, and honestly, I enjoy the combat, and not only the gameplay of it, but the mechanics, the consequences, the idea of you don't want to kill anyone, because if you do, you need to take care of that body and incinerate it, otherwise there's going to be a void out. The idea of using packages as weapons, but then running the risk of damaging them. I like the gameplay in the traversal, starting off just walking, then driving, until eventually you're using cargo cannons and zip lines to try and streamline your traversal as much as possible, all the while being online, both receiving and giving help to other players through shared resources and items, giving a real sense of, while never actually seeing or directly interacting with anyone, not being alone in such a bleak and barren world. And the story was such a one and done that the fact we're even getting a sequel is mind-blowing. And I have so many questions already. What happened to Lou? How did Higgs return from the dead? Who are all of these new characters? If they need an extinction entity to cause an extinction event, then how is Higgs going to do this without Amelie? And what the hell is even happening in scenes like this?
DHB Magellan. Integrate! Everyone, hold on tight.
This trailer released almost 2 weeks ago now, and honestly I can't stop thinking about it, which is why I wanted to make this, why I feel like I needed to make this. If not for nobody but myself. Death Stranding is important to me. It's a game I've platinumed twice now, once on initial release for PS4 and once on the director's cut for PS5. It's a game that's soundtrack I find myself still thinking about and humming to myself on a regular basis. I don't think a month has gone by in the past 5.5 years where I haven't been driving home from work singing the BB theme.
See the sunset, the day is ending. Let that yawn out. There's no pretending.
I could honestly just sit here and talk about this game for hours, but I've probably already gone on for more than long enough, so yeah, Death Stranding 2. I genuinely believe this is most likely going to be my game of the year. I'm probably not going to even do any videos on it when it releases, as it's a game that I truly just want to sit down and play and enjoy myself, get that experience. I'll probably review it when I'm done, but I doubt I'm going to be making any gameplay videos of it, but I mean, we'll see what happens. Anyway, if you're still here, thank you. Thank you for listening to me and letting me get all this out. It's actually been really cathartic, finally being able to just let this out, even if I am just talking to a microphone and a red wall right now. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts on Death Stranding and its sequel are in the comments below. I'll see you guys soon. Cheers.